Right guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm here today with Commissar Ali, and today we're going to be unboxing this. It's just arrived, I pre-ordered it and it's just turned up, so Ali's come round. We're going to have a closer look at the contents, so let's have a look. Right, so here we go. Like I said, this has just turned up and we're going to open it. It's still got the plastic on. So the box is actually quite a bit smaller than what I thought. But yeah, let's have a quick look at the contents. So it looks as though we've got like some form of tactical cards. We've got stats for each of the Marines. It looks as though that looks like it's a form of a ruler.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
Assault combat, and there's a bit missing off there as well.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's going to be something like Space Hulk. Anyway, let's open it up and have a look inside. Safety notice, always cut away from yourself. You don't want to end up with 3 fingers like Ali. He hasn't got 3.
Or worse, I've seen worse. Have actually seen worse.
Right, so let's open it up and see what's inside.
You can smell that straight away.
Smell the clean plastic.
We'll waft some of that towards the camera.
Right, so let's have a quick look at the sprues. So these must be the Gene Stealer sprues. I'll move that out of the way actually so you can see them on camera a bit better. So these look like they are the combat focused hybrids, the ones with the pistols and weapons.
Yeah, it's ones with the hammers as well up there. And
yeah.
Oh, that is a detailed sprue.
Very, very detailed as well. I think when I get some of these built, I'll post some pictures on the Facebook page, so if you don't already like the Facebook page, please like it. Yeah, these look very, very easy to put together as well, actually. They're very, very close to the Space Hulk one, so like this one here, for example, you've got one hand to clip on, and it looks as though like a chest piece or head as well. So they actually look, although they're not multi-part kits, but the detail on them for not being multi-part kits is phenomenal.
Looking at it, the heads have got these little pins on, but you could easily take that pin off and instantly just turn the head a different direction, so you've got so much in there just to, oh look, this one now looks completely different to the one on the box without you know, doing anything complicated.
And to be honest, most of the pistols, the hands are quite open, so you can get them quite easy. So if, you know, if you've got other bits and pieces that you want to swap them for, I think the conversion possibilities are going to be very, very simple to do, but I mean the detail on them is phenomenal. I mean there's the grenade launcher as well, and the mining laser, strength 9 AP 201.
Oh wow. Last cannon.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need Gene Stealer as well. Hybrids and las cannons.
I mean, you playing guard, how do you feel about there being no guards in the formations or the rules or anything?
In these formations here?
Yeah.
To be honest, I wasn't really expecting it, but it seems to be quite good as well, the way it just bangs through it, and you've got your generation 1, 2, 3, 4. And obviously you've got your Patriarch, you've got the big Gene Stealer, you've got all this sort of stuff, so it's quite good they've actually managed to combine them being Gene Stealer with being human and having these las cannon rip-offs. And
takes you back to 2nd edition, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So these two sprues look as though they're the same, so I mean, you know, although there's multiples of the models, you've still got a good, what's that, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's 16 models on each of those sprues there. You've got the Gene Stealer, you've got the guys with the pick hammers, and some of the combat orientated ones as well. Here we go, this is what we want to see. This is some of the Marines. So there's the Librarian. We've got the Dark Angel Champion there, we've got the Salamander Terminator. The detail on these is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you know, you think the Sternguard sprue's worth the money, but the detail on this is fantastic. I mean, loads of people are complaining about this box set being £100, but when you consider the models alone, you're paying less than £2 for the models. Less than £2 each. So this one's the Patriarch, and you've got the Magus here as well. And the detail on them just looks absolutely fantastic. Really excited. To be honest, I think the Magus ones you could probably make from other models, but even then the detail on them's absolutely fantastic. I love the spikiness and sheer evilness of the Broodlord. Broodlord the Patriarch.
That looks quite good as well. You know, some of the Tyrant imagery where it's like the sort of Tyrant fetus curled up. That straight away with no arms or legs in it, it's just that curled up
Yeah.
immature Tyranid, and it's just going to build into this huge...
Do you know what it reminds us of? Geiger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very, very much like his art style. So...
Yeah, with all the vents and ribbons on it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Really going into that.
So I'm really excited to build these models, actually. And then we've got another sprue, which is the rest of the Death Watch team. So we've got the Blood Angel there straight away. That's the Raven Guard. We've got the White Scar, the Imperial Fist. We've got the Iron Hand there.
Yeah, that'll be the Iron Hand.
Yeah,
with Space Wolf will be hiding somewhere. I see his head.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, that's the Space Wolf.
So the level of detail on these models is absolutely fantastic, and I really, really cannot wait to start getting these built up. I'm probably going to do it over the weekend, I think, actually. So let's have a look. There's two 32mm bases there, so I'm guessing that you must get the full set of 32mm bases. There we go. And then the bike, Patriarch, Terminator, and then you've got all the 25s and 32s there for the models. For the 40k rules. So let's have a quick look here. What have we got? We've got 2 packs of cards. We've got a rule book. Let's just move the sprues to one side there. Not quite a ruler. So assault, combat, maximum. Don't know. The dice. I'm disappointed in them. They're very small and cheap. I was expecting something big and chunky like the Space Hulk ones. The Space Hulk ones, I think you get like 15mm dice. I mean, come on, look at that.
It'd have been better as well if they had some sort of symbol for the 6 or the 1.
I think Space Hulk has the Imperial insignia for one of them, but they've got some nice swirls in as well. That's a disappointment. I don't understand why they're black, because of Death Watch, but if I'm honest, that's a bit of a...
Yeah, they could have been customised easily.
Yeah, easy. Let's have a quick look at the battle mat, or the game pieces itself. So it looks as though it's quite chunky cardboard. That actually doesn't look as though there's very much at all. I think Space Hulk's actually got a lot more. I mean, I know the Space Hulk one's interchangeable. I don't know whether this one is. If I'm honest, I haven't even looked at the rules for it. So it looks as though these are going to be a push out. I don't want to force it if it's not.
I think they're just tiles and they just pop them next to each other. But I see what you mean, yeah, because actually I think they do pop out, you know. That one's kind of got...
No, I don't think they do. I don't think they do.
Some weird...
I think it's just embossed so you can see where each tiles are.
You can tell where the floor is and stuff.
So if I'm on it, well, we'll have to have a look at the mission book to see whether or not they're fully interchangeable. But straight away, if you've only got, what's that, 3... I mean, don't get us wrong, the detail on them looks fantastic, but...
They are double-sided as well, so you...
True. So you've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You've only got 8 tiles with essentially 16 different sides, but I mean, the detail on them is great. But I don't know. Maybe people didn't like how many different parts there was with Space Hulk, and they wanted it a little bit easier to do it with this. And I mean, don't get us wrong, it's handy. It's very, very easy to transport that way instead of taking, you know, the massive Space Hulk box with you. So yeah, I think definitely pros and cons.
Yeah, it could probably, again, could have been better, couldn't it? But on the whole, it's not too bad. They're quite easy to store, quite easy to transport.
But when you look at the quality of the models, I mean, don't get us wrong, the Space Hulk models are fantastic, but there's so much more detail and individuality there.
Yeah, that's just all your CAD programming coming into the fore now, isn't it?
So let's have a look at the rule book. Get this opened up. Right, so instructions, which you don't get with Space Hulk. Not that you need them for them, but at least they've actually paid attention and put the part numbers and everything on here, so there's no mistake of getting wrong parts.
That's good, because to be fair, with all those sprues, was it 16 models on the Tyranid sprues? Without these instructions, you're going to get...
One of the units is 14.
Something's going to go wrong somewhere if you didn't have any instructions.
Yeah.
So it's quite good they've gone all full out as well.
I mean, each of the Space Marine models is only, what, 3, 4, 5 parts tops? Ah, and there's a servo skull on there somewhere as well. Great stuff. Really, really excited to get them built and painted up actually, so I'm definitely going to work on them this weekend. But let's have a look at the rule book. So we've got an introduction, which will be basically telling us about what the game is. Full components. So the dice say 6-sided dice with a hashtag on them. The hashtag symbol is used to denote the dice roll. Maybe that's in the rules because they don't have a hashtag on.
Yeah, maybe later on.
Alright, let's have a look at the rest of it. So, turn sequence. So it looks as though it's going to operate very, very similar. Actually, it looks as though it's kind of in between Space Hulk and 40k, because you've got your Deathwatch command and movement phase, Genestealer movement, Deathwatch attack, Genestealer attack, and then second attack phase for your Deathwatch.
Yeah.
Whereas with Space Hulk, you do all of your Blood Angels, then all your Genestealers, and then swap back and forth.
Yeah, it looks a lot like Lord of the Rings actually. You had your, you'd move your army, then the other side would move, then you'd shoot, then they'd shoot. It looks like that, where you kind of integrating the turns, 2 turns into 1 turn, rather than going, right, I'm going to have all my stuff and you're going to have yours. And
Yeah, and we'll have to see how that pans out. I think that's going to be interesting to play it slightly differently as well. It's going to force you to think about, rather than just, oh yeah, I want to move them all this way, going to shoot them all this way,
yeah,
then assault this way, and then, oh look, I've got that flank. So that's going to be interesting. Obviously we've got all this fluff in the book as well, telling us about the mining laser. Got Orton Cassius's background there as well. And then, so the cards are heavily involved. At the start of the first turn, the Genestealer cultist shuffles all of the Broodmine cards and then draws a hand of them. The instructions for the mission will say how many at the start of each consecutive Broodmine phase. The Genestealer cultist draws many cards as needed to replenish his hand. So that must be basically able to give you buffs or something. We'll have to have a look at the cards. We've got more fluff about each of the Marines as well. Movement fit, jumping's going to be interesting. Instead of moving into an adjacent zone, a model can jump. To do so, use the range ruler to measure the shortest distance between the model and the zone it is going to jump to. This must be to represent height then.
Yeah,
panels
yeah,
represent height.
Gives it another L, doesn't it?
Yeah. Putting I know runes and levels and stuff are a thing in 40k, but I mean templates ignore levels and things like that, so launching ambushes, so that must be kind of assaulting. Again, we've got the fluff about the rest of them. Wow, the Raven Guard looks pale.
really vampiric, doesn't he? He looks more vampiric than the Blood Angel, I'll be honest.
Yeah, but the Blood Angel's blonde. You've got the ginger Viking up there as well. So then each of these pages, it looks as though you've got a bit of fluff on one side, and then you've got obviously the rules for each phase on the opposite side. It does look like it's probably going to be a little bit more complex than Space Hulk, so I think it might take a few goes to get used to it. Look at the White Scar, very Mongolian there, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the only one who's smiling as well, isn't he? The rest of them are just...
Who's that?
A salamander.
Oh yeah, because they're supposed to have black skin, aren't they?
Yeah, he looks a bit more green. He looks a little bit orcish, doesn't he? With that ponytail across the back of his head and...
Very, very orcish.
Strange.
And then we've got the Iron Hand up there as well, with all the cybernetic implants. So there's armor saves, wounded models as well. And then you've got cards to keep track. I don't know whether or not this is actually going to be more complex than Space Hulk or not, because Space Hulk, you've got a lot of counters to keep track of as well. Yeah. Whereas this, it looks as though you've literally got your 2 decks of cards.
Cards are probably easier than counters, aren't they? To play with.
Definitely.
Once everyone gets the hang of it, it'll just flow.
The Blood Raven. The first, I'm guessing the first canon Blood Raven, because it's the first model ever released by GW. That thing. Mastercrafted Power Fist with a mastercrafted melter gun built into it on a Terminator.
Oh no.
And because he's a salamander, he gets shred on his heavy flamer.
Yeah, we don't need that sort of thing. That's oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, well, that's one model. Here we go. So this looks as though it's going along the lines of like Codex route with all the painted miniatures in the middle. I think, to be honest, when I paint these up, I don't know about you, but I'm really going to try and stick as close to this as I can. I really, really like the detail and everything on there, and it's just enough insignia to keep you tied into the chapter. Great inspiration on fantastic models, I think. So I'm definitely going to try and paint these up as close as possible to these.
Yeah, definitely seems like a plan. I like the balance they've got with them. You look at them, and you instantly scream Deathwatch. You look a little bit closer, and you see the individual chapters just poking out, coming through. The Space Wolf's got his furs. The Librarian's got his robes on and stuff. The Salamander's got the scales. They've all got their little quirks in the home chapter, but they're just Deathwatch over the top.
I mean, the Blood Angel got his little teardrops on his wings on his shin. The Blood Raven there having the eagle skull in the middle of his crest as well. I think the hawk on the white scar and he's Pawntash.
Yeah, we have to call it Pawntash.
Fantastic stuff. The Iron Hand as well, again having them cybernetic implants and the bionic leg and everything as well. Here we go, Gene Stealers. I like the pure strain Gene Stealers. They're very, very close to the old-fashioned second edition.
The really old ones with the ribs on the back rather than
the
carapace.
Look there. I mean, don't get us wrong, the new Gene Stealers are nice, but I love how they've kind of reiterated back to what the old hybrids and stuff used to be. And the Magus, I think he looks great. He looks very, very similar to the really old sort of Rogue Trader one, but it's got the level of detail that GW is now producing on the plastics.
He really reminds me of Ming the Merciless as well, with that huge high collar behind him. If anyone needs a tash and a little beard, it's going to have to be this Magus here, Ming the Merciless.
And then over here we've got the hybrids. I mean, if you look, a lot of the hybrids are very, very close to human. They must be the more gun-based ones. And then I think are they second generation hybrids?
Yeah, there's your
third.
There's your thirds and your fourths there, isn't there?
Yeah,
the ones who look more human.
Yeah, the fourth generation.
The third's got an extra pair of arms. Comes in very useful actually when you've got a big gun like that, isn't it? An extra pair of arms just to hold it up.
So the first and second generation are closest to looking like Gene Stealer. The third generation look nearly human with just a few traits. And then obviously the fourth ones, very, very hard to tell. I think you could probably, make some of them yourself with cultists and stuff, couldn't you?
Quite easily, yeah.
And guardsmen. And to be honest, if you've got spare Tyranid parts, what's stopping you from making these as well? I like these models a lot though. Like I said, it's very, very throwback to Rogue Trader days.
Yeah.
Here we go, missions. So we're only halfway through the book now, and the amount of fluff and pictures and everything, and the rules that's on there, and then we've got the missions. This is like an overview of the mission map, so obviously it's giving you the layout and how to set things up so that you can play. There we go. Probably the best picture. I mean, that's on the front box. It really, really gives you an idea of them working as a team, surrounded by a horde. Phenomenal stuff. Right, so here we go. You've got this must be the background of the mission, so you've got the symbols for each of the Deathwatch Marines, and it's giving you a bit of background about what they're saying to each other. And then we've got mission objectives, as well as how many cards you get to draw for the Gene Stealers. So let's have a look. Mission objective: both sides must attempt to slay as many foes as possible whilst minimising their own casualties. Keep a kill tally by recording the number of models belonging to the Gene Stealer cultists that have been slain. As soon as this kill tally reaches 25, the mission ends. The Deathwatch commander wins, and the Gene Stealer cultist can slay 2 Deathwatch Space Marines before this happens. The mission ends and the Gene Stealer cultist wins. That's terrifying.
There's quite a big difference, isn't it? 25 to 2.
Yeah.
That's...
Bearing in mind the bolt guns are going to be cutting through most of the armour as well, but if it plays very similar to 40k.
I suppose these are going to have some sort of fluff-based rules as well, and for to lose 25 hybrids to 2 Marines, really, you think 40k,
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, you're not going to get that, but in this, they're going to have it. We'll put some fluff rules in there as well, so it's just going
They
to...
may have multiple wounds. We'll have a quick look at the cards as well, but I mean, how many missions is here? That's 4. I mean, it gives you the layout, but it doesn't look as though the boards are that big. I mean, that's 4 pieces.
That one's very narrow, isn't it? Not a lot going on there.
And then this one, you've got 5 around the outside, and then a lower section, so... That's interesting actually. So rather than just having the one game board, you're dropping down in the centre, which will be 2 separate game pieces. So that's interesting, playing it on multiple levels as well, gives it that extra thought. There we go. That must be all of the cards out on the table.
It looks like it, yeah.
I'm actually looking at the timestamp up here in the corner. So you've got 146, 212, 239. 359, so it looks as though it's going to be one sort of giant campaign.
Oh, it looks surrounded in that one. If you look at Marines all starting here, and you've got all these hybrids and cultists coming on from all around them, just absolutely surrounded.
And that one looks as though they're all trapped maybe in cells or something, and the Gene Stealer's coming on behind them.
Yeah, that one looks quite interesting to play. Actually, it would be narrow, but everyone's on there, isn't it?
Mission 9. So there's only 9 missions, but it depends on how long the game time goes. I think Space Hulk's only got, I want to say 14, 15 missions.
Something like that, yeah. It's not many more.
Right, so got fluff here. It looks as though from both sides as well. Cleansing of Gozar Quintus. So this is this an overview? Yep, this is an overview of all of the missions on there as well. Let's have a look.
That's whether you win or not, isn't it? Because like that one there, the Gene Stealers win. They increase the hand size by 1 for all future missions. So if you played all 9 missions back to back, the more you win, the more you get benefited for the next mission, isn't it?
Right, so it also gives you a tally score as well for the overall campaign as a whole, to see how well you did. So, if, for example, if the Gene Stealer cultist player gets 1 or 2 victories, you know, class yourself as a brood sibling. 5 or 6 victories, Grim Overlord. So, interesting stuff. There we've got the profiles. So the profiles are very different. This looks as though it's kind of like the appendix of the rule book. So you've got, you know, your turn order and the stats for the Gene Stealers on there as well. So let's have a quick look at the cards. So these are what the Gene Stealer player would draw each turn. So it looks as though these must be like sighted cards. So there you've got your Gene Stealer Magus with Wall Blast, Psychic Barrier. Primus has Perfect Ambush. So the cards must work very, very similar to the tokens for Space Hulk with a random number on. I mean, without having a massive in-depth look at the rules, but not like the new tactical cards. That card is nice and thick, have a feel.
Yeah, nice thick one. That's what you want for a card that you're going to get.
Why haven't they done the new tactical cards like that? I mean,
not a clue.
You had a look at them when I played that game with Matt the other night.
Look at that, you can hit it with your finger and just tap the card, it would have fallen in half, that would have been in 2 pieces. It would float away in a bit of a breeze or something, wouldn't it?
I mean, we're not here to review the tactical cards, but when you saw them the other night, what did you think?
They were just paper thin. They were bending. I mean, you had them about 3 times, maybe 4, and the pack was actually bending in half. The card was just starting to fold with. I don't want to say age because you had them in your hands 3 or 4 times, but that's when, you know, playing cards bend. It's age.
And then finally we've got so this is must be kind of your wound counter. So we've got the Patriarch there, speed 3 plus armor, and wounded. And there's the stats for each of the Marines on there as well. So that's handy to keep track of everything, especially if they've got multiple wounds as well. I like that idea of having the multiple wounds as well. Actually, I'm wondering if that's the case.
Definitely gives them survivability, doesn't it?
The quality of the game itself. I mean, having you know, a very quick look at it as we go through. I mean, the rule book It's fantastic. You know, it's not a hardback by any means, but it's nice and thick card. It's glossy paper. There's plenty of detail and fluff in there as well. The card that you've got for the boards, the fact that it's interchangeable, it's nice and thick. I mean, it's a good, what, 3mm thick?
Yeah,
good 3mm thick on there. The detail on it is phenomenal. Obviously the models are absolutely fantastic. I would say literally the only thing I'm disappointed about is the
effort that's gone into everything else in there.
Yeah.
And it's basic black dice.
Basic black dice, which, you know, they're still dice, but when you, like I said, when you compare them to the Space Hulk ones,
I bet they're not even lucky dice. We'll have a see. We'll have a little roll of dice and see how lucky.
What was your luck? They're not going to be.
Not bad, it's a bit average, really.
Average.
Yeah. So there you go. The dice aren't even particularly lucky.
Let's see if my lucky hand does any better. Yeah.
Bit higher, isn't it? But yeah. So the dice seem to be average as well.
But yeah, the models, I'm really looking forward to getting the models built, and hopefully we can get a couple of games in once the models are painted. There's a lot of models there to paint though, and I haven't even finished Space Hulk models yet. And I've got a few other things on the go as well.
The list piles up.
The list piles up. So, general thoughts of the game, the quality, what do you think?
Definitely looks a game worth getting. If you're thinking about it, and sort of you were hinging maybe, I'm not sure, just get it. Just get it.
It's 100 quid, but you're paying less than £2 a model.
Yeah, and then you get everything else on top of it.
You can use them in 40k. The game itself looks like it's going to be reasonably quick paced.
Yeah, it definitely looks a quick game.
And it looks very simple to set up and pick up. Very, very easy to store. I mean, like I said, you know, these, you know, the pile of them's less than 2 codexes. And,
yeah,
you know, they're bundled together. The cards are nice thick quality as well. And to be honest, well, when they're painted I wouldn't, but you could quite easily store the miniatures in the box as well. But I mean, like, literally to pick up the book, and very, very easy. I almost kind of wish they'd put a little box in with the cards in. Yeah,
just to keep those in, because
like the faction-specific tactical objective cards,
yeah.
I think if it had that, and having some nice specific dice would have been really nice, I think, as well. Like maybe just have a target on the 1 or the 6.
Yeah, it would have been good to have something like that, and just a little inquisitorial eye, a target or a skull or curled up Tyranid symbol or something.
Other than that, I think, you know, for what you get for £100 is absolutely fantastic. And I'm really looking forward to playing the game. Hopefully we can get a couple of games in once I've actually painted the models up.
That would definitely be good. Something else for the channel, isn't it?
Exactly. So, let me know what your thoughts are, what you think of the game. Do you want to see battle reports? Because I am hoping to do them. It'll probably be a couple of weeks before I can get the models painted up. But let me know in the comments and see what you think. Ali, massive thank you for coming around and having a look through the box, and hopefully we can get some games in very soon.
Definitely, yeah.
Right, thanks very much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.